Sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. And that's when you feel like a big dope. They're the worst bumps you can be taking. Sometimes you reach out for the hot tag and you go ahead and make your own comeback. That's when you should quit wrestling and you're better off rolling in thumbtacks. The hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you're distracting the referee and the babyface has your wrestler pinned. Then you get punched to the ring apron and you realize all the trouble you're in when it's the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Now double claps. Here we go, Bob Squad. It's the hardest part of the ring. Hulu edition. Hulu edition. The Monday Night Raw for the Monday whatever. I messed up the claps. That's okay. Here we go. It's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Whoa. Yay. What is going on, Bob Squad? How's Tricks? How's the kids? Some weather we're having. How about that local sports team? They sure do score the baskets. Oh my goodness. What are we talking about? What's causing all this? As they used to say. It is the December 6th. The December 6th, the go home show for the Pearl Harbor anniversary. No, wait, they don't. It's December 6th, the Monday Night Raw. And apparently it's hosted by Seth Rollins, who's just looking at the camera, telling us what the matches are. This is why Big E's reign doesn't feel important. It's not about him. It's been a Seth Rollins show since like the third week E won it. It was the Bobby Lashley show for the first couple of weeks. Bobby Lashley. Can I talk today? No. Anyway, Seth Rollins tells us the match, but hold the phone. Stop the press. Slam the brakes. Back the buggy up, Daddy. Wait just a minute. We opened the show with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. And I noticed this, because I always focus on that part. Some positive, they in that opening little signature at the beginning of the show, they do keep in Connor, the young kid from Connor's Cure. Remember back in 2014, he was 7 at the time. Of course, he was very ill, so I believe that he passed away soon after. So he'd be 14. Wow, he'd be 14. But Connor from Connor's Cure is still in there. Is still in the opening, so that's good. I'm trying to find a positive in the show. Don't get used to those. We have a cage match in some unknown city. Oh, it's Memphis, Tennessee. Actually, they did mention it a few times. I was going to chew them out for never mentioning the city, but they actually did say Memphis quite a bit. So that one's on me. Okay, we're in Memphis, Tennessee. Jerry Lawler's nowhere to be found, but whatever. We opened the show with a cage match that I don't even know if they said it was for the championship or not. The champion Big E was wrestling Kevin Owens. We opened the show with at least the champion in a cage match. I don't know if it was on the line or not, but whatever. And it should have been, if your champion's in a cage, why else would he be in a cage? The crowd in Memphis, Tennessee. Oh, not much of a wrestling town. The crowd in Memphis, Tennessee opened Monday Night Raw long before they're going to get tired with the champion in a steel cage. And they yawned with their hands under their butts. No one cared. How quiet could it be for a big main event championship cage match at the most energetic and hottest part of the show? Because at that point, all they've seen 2 3 or 4 minute matches for whatever the show was, and maybe 1 2-minute squash before that. They're still hot. They've 3 hours to go before they want to end their lives. Okay. They shouldn't even be sitting. They shouldn't be sitting down if you start the show with your champion in a cage. And they were. They were quiet. And apparently, whoever's job it was to pipe in the crowd noise like they did last week, and oh, did they? Apparently, that guy, or lady, I don't know, Talk about the meme, you had one job. Where's the noise piper guy? They used to get noise from Roddy Piper, and now they have to make noise from a noise piper. That made no sense. But whatever. Ah, you know, Papa, you're a son of an unnamed coach. I don't tell you that. Okay. Anyway, this match is long, but at least it was quiet. Eventually, after a break, Seth Rollins attacks and he slams the door on E's head a bunch of times, which just occurred to me. They did an NXT 24 hours later on the same network in the same time frame. Good job. No one's watching the other programming. What happened? I don't know. Something happened. I farted. Sorry. Big E won the match, and he gave Kevin Owens his finisher once off the second rope, and then he kicks Owens away and gets out of the ring, and what do you call it? Seth beats him up on the outside. So Seth beats up everyone after hosting the show. Seth's already the champion. Doesn't matter who carries the physical title around. It doesn't matter. It's Seth's show. It's Seth's show on one show. It's Roman's show on the other. It's the same. And that's why we don't care. But later on, we get Austin McMahon. Then Hulu goes to commercial for HPV medicine. I'm not kidding. They do. So, if you want to protect yourself or loved ones from getting cervical cancer due to the spread of HPV medicines, look into Gardasil 9. Gardasil 9. There are some side effects, including headaches, nausea, diarrhea, bad booking, but Gardasil 9 to prevent HPV, Bob Squad. Don't think I'm just here to entertain you. I'm not a dumbass. I'm not a stupid dumbass. Oh, the commercial ends, and RK Bro is backstage with an Irish guy, and they decide they're gonna wear blazers like sports jackets for a reason I'm still not sure of. It was long. This thing went on for a long time. Someone wrote some bad comedy. They had Orton say this really forced line, like you said your favorite movie was as a kid was the movie Home Alone. Like, no one talks like that. They would just say Home Alone. It's like when I say the popular actress instead of just the actress's name, because I like to be an idiot. I haven't done that one in a while. I don't even know if you guys would know that one. I always every actress I refer to as a popular actress so and so. Mainly Nicole Eggert from Charles in Charge and Baywatch, but I like to do that. So there's a mini tournament. 4 tag teams. 2 tag team matches will happen. The winners will face the winners next week, I guess, and then those winners wrestle RK Bro and lose to them at the pay-per-view on New Year's Day. But it fills time. So anyway, AJ Styles and Omos wrestle the Street Profits, and Randy Orton and Riddle are at ringside in their sports jackets and no pants, which looks creepier. It would only be creepier if they had pants, but their pants were around their ankles, but they were wearing the same tights. But for some reason, when the pants are on but only around your ankles, it's creepier. I think it's because of the walk. Because you have to do that pants around your ankles walk. Okay, Bob. Well, a guy with a pant... Let's go back to this. A guy with no pants just doesn't have options. He may want pants, which makes it less creepy. A guy with his pants around his ankles clearly has choices. He can pull up his pants. The pants are right there. But he's choosing not to have the pants applied traditionally. So that's why it's worse to see a guy with his pants around his ankles than it is to see a guy with no pants. No pants guy might want pants. Pants on ankles guy? We don't know what he wants. But it ain't pants. And he's not grateful for the pants he has. AJ Styles and Omos wrestle the Street Profits, and Omos doesn't know the rules of pro wrestling because he gets countered out by beating up a guy for too long. And then AJ kind of yells at him, and Omos walks away. And then Riddle, oh boy, I'm repeating this into a microphone. Riddle in his blazer pretends to be a sportscaster of some kind and interviews AJ, and AJ just tells him to get lost or something. And that didn't go anywhere except your babyface looking stupid and your heel making perfect sense. And then a blonde lady talks to Becky Lynch. And this was Becky's been fantastic these last 3-4 weeks. Ever since she showed up on Raw, she's been doing the best stuff I think she's done since 2018, late 2018. Because honestly, 2019 and those first few months of 2020, I absolutely hated her. She was not doing her best stuff. But that 3 or 4 months at the end of 2018 was great. But you do become the thing you despise the most over in time, as we all know. Sometimes you become the old stand-up comedian that just won't quit. Why won't he quit? It's not going anywhere. Move on with your life. I used to hate those guys. So, I really did hate those guys, dude. Becky Lynch tells a great story from her point of view. She tells us, a story of Liv. She tells us why we should care about our babyface, her opponent, and how everyone's getting behind Liv, and why she's not behind Liv, and Liv's disappointment. She's going to show everyone, and this Liv's not ready for the big time Bex, etc., etc., etc. And Becky just does a wonderful job of telling us why we should care about this match, but from her character's specific, I hate the word character, I know, but from her character's specific point of view, why we should care and how she feels about it. And I loved it. I thought it was really good. Made me give a shit. Charlotte would have cut a promo about Charlotte Flair and said queen and woo and opportunity and blah 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 blah, and told us that Liv is not a challenger at all, knowing full well she's going to beat Liv, and nothing would have got done except put Charlotte over more, which can't be done. So I think I need a break. I'm glad she's on SmackDown. Maybe I need a break from Charlotte. I haven't seen SmackDown in forever. Brock Lesnar did something with Sami Zayn, but I didn't see it. They replay. Austin McMahon. They replay Vince McMahon's slapping Austin theory, and Vince McMahon still has a red phone cover. Like, it's like an Apple commercial for like '66 Batman. It would just be a red phone, a red iPhone underneath that clear case there. Ooh, that'd be a great commercial. They could CGI that in. And do all the pows and the zaps and all the bullshit. The only thing people know about that show, just do all those. And holy something, whatever. They'd probably be climbing up a building with the rope, and some guy in an Apple uniform pops his head out and says, "Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm looking. Oh, hello, citizen. Me and my old chum here, Robin," because he always called him old chum. "We're looking for a plan," blah, 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 and then it would be a great commercial. Computer's losing power. I gotta plug this in. Okay. What we're talking about? Anything important? Oh, yeah, a 77-year-old man is beating 23-year-old down athletes in their prime. Just wanted to let you know that. So they reminded us. And then I think Vince McMahon promised him a match, and later he says, "Never mind, you don't have a match," and I don't know what happened. Miz has his segment with his fake charisma thing. Edge is on there, and they yell at each other, and eventually Miz is about to... they establish a match for the first day of the year, which I thought they did already. Or maybe I just assumed it so much that I didn't notice it wasn't official, but whatever. Anyway, Miz says, "I'll fight you right now," but no, he doesn't. He backs out and he walks up the ramp, and then Edge is there. Memphis loved Edge, by the way. Edge comes out, and this is the sign of a pro. And this is real charisma versus fake charisma. Being over versus being shoved in our faces. Edge comes out. Does not do his entrance. And he will at the pay-per-view as well. He should. He doesn't just do the pose, the fireworks, the whatever the hell. He randomly runs off to one side where the cameras can barely catch him. But everyone in that section made tons of noise, so it made for good TV. Because he just felt like it. In a moment, it was the right thing to do. And then he runs back because he knows he's on TV and he's got to hurry up and everything else. It's not his first fucking day, Jesus Christ. He's been on he's been on TV there for 22 years. But anyway, little things. Liv Morgan is talking to a blonde lady. I forget what they said to each other. The Mysterios wrestled the Alpha Academy in the other tournament match to lose to RK Bro. This is interesting because neither Rey Mysterio nor Otis ever tagged in. It was just what's-his-face, Chad Gable and Dominic Mysterio for 5 minutes or whatever it is. Dominic rolled them up. I forget exactly how. It's been a couple of days. It's been a day. And 1, 2, 3. Good. Tournament matches. Here's the thing with pro wrestling and tournaments. Only the finals really need to be a long back and forth. Because really, in any tournament, you're just waiting for the finish. I mean, you could have the occasional, okay, this tournament has 7 matches. Let's say there's 8 guys. That's 4-2 versus 2. 2-2 versus 2 and 1-2 versus 2. So that's 4-2 and 1, quarter, semi, and main. So that's 7 matches, let's say. In addition to the finals, one of those quarters or semis, maybe that can go a little long if you have 2 great athletes and get people really into it. But generally, those matches show up quick. It's like the second fall of a 2 out of 3 falls match. Once in a blue moon, someone scores 2 falls, but really everyone and their mother knows if you have a 2 out of 3 falls match, everyone knows who's winning that second fall. So why does it have to be? Why do they all those falls have to be 15 minutes long? They don't, and they shouldn't. If it's a long NXT thing like Ciampa and Gargano, oddly enough, we'll talk about him later, Gargano, if they do 2 to 3 falls, or Gargano and Adam Cole would do those 2 to 3 falls matches, it could be like 15 minutes, because they're going to go long anyway, let's face it. Like 15 minutes, 3 minutes, and then another 15, 20 if you really, because they're going to do that anyway. That second fall does not need to be long. The same way these tournament matches, we just need to get to the finish. That's all, unless you're doing an angle where someone wins but gets quote-unquote injured in the process. But that's another story for another day. And this tournament, these matches don't happen on the same night, so it's like a week-by-week tournament. So, which is silly when they do tournaments in King of the Ring that way. So you didn't win a tournament, you won 3 matches in a row. No? Yes? Okay. You done, Bob? On your high horse? Almost 19 minutes of this shit. Finn Balor wrestles T-Bar, LOL. Finn beats him. 1, 2, 3. When Finn won the match, it was a split second because they're too busy focusing on shaking the camera up and down when someone's punching. And then the camera has more shakes than there are punches and it looks extra fake. But that aside, this was good. They had quick shots of children jumping up happy and women checking out and swooning over Finn Balor, who's an attractive guy. He's got a lot of abs. He's got the Irish charm and a cute little haircut, nice baby face, but he's getting a little grizzled now too. A little more bad boy. A little more sexy now. Oh, easy. Okay. Anyway, they showed women and children 2 shots very quickly admiring Finn Balor. It was the only shot they probably could have used this entire episode of people caring about the show. But they used it. It was good. Speaking of Irish guys, we have a different Irish guy, not as sexy as Finn Balor at all. He's a distant second. Talking to Bobby Lashley and MVP. Wait a minute. Did Bob? No, he didn't. Okay.
I was gonna say, did Bobby Lashley do something in the cage with Owens and Big E? I don't think so. I think I imagined that in my head. There's a package on Liv Morgan. Okay, so the main event's gonna be Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch. I don't know if they mentioned this on TV or just social media, but I guess this match was 14 years to the day that Trish Stratus and Lita made history, main eventing the yeah, it was E at the time, for the Women's Championship. So they did that, and Liv Morgan later on does mirror the spot. She does the dive that Lita did to the outside, but thankfully doesn't do any neck-breaking type of landing or whatever the hell. But anyway, that's noteworthy. I don't even know if the announcers brought it up, honestly. Don't bring up old shit. I'm like, okay, remember? What are you going to do? So they have a package on Liv Morgan showing her mom in Jersey and how she was young and they were very poor and she was a fan of wrestling and WWE, yada, yada, yada. But it showed her to be a human. It reminded the fans, and the women do have a harder time. They're given a harder time, I think, than the men for this when they're wrestlers and they weren't a fan of wrestling growing up. Like Big E wasn't a big wrestling fan growing up. But everyone loves Big E. I love Big E. But not all of them were. Not a lot of them were. Most of them were. And women are the same way. So they reminded us Liv Morgan has always cared about this. Smart. I thought that was a really good thing to do to really help Liv. I mean, listen, 95% chance we know Becky Lynch is walking out of there with the championship. But Liv was supposed to be made here. She was supposed to be made in defeat. This whole thing was designed to make Liv in defeat. What did it happen? Well, let's talk about it. Liv Morgan, by the way, does anyone know in the comments if she was ever an indie wrestler or went straight to the WWE PC? Why do I bring this up? Because she also does the Scooby-Doo pin. The pin that the Iconics and Sasha Banks and good guy Bailey, but not heel Bailey, would do. The Scooby-Doo pin, where they lean back and their legs are kicking and throwing away their own leverage and making their pin less effective. And then when they don't get the pin on a Scooby-Doo pin, they overdo the exaggerated, oh my god, I can't believe so-and-so kicked out of my snap. Yikes. With that said, this is definitely the best Liv Morgan match I've ever seen. I know she was in there with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch was working very hard to make Liv look effective and make Liv look capable of beating her. And Becky had her working boots on, and it wasn't just the bumps and the motion that she was taking for Liv. She sold for Liv. She showed on her face, maybe sometimes a little too much at times, but Becky showed how pissed off she was that Liv kept kicking out of shit. Charlotte would have laughed it off and done that kicking the mat, wiping your feet, kicking the invisible dirt on your opponent thing, which is fine, but at the right times. But Becky was showing us, hey, she was selling it as though she was trying to hide the fact that Liv has got her nervous. And again, I'm all over Becky these last few weeks because it's the best stuff on the show. Becky was telling a story of how Liv has her number today, but she doesn't want to admit it, even though she's admitting it to us, which is really hard to do. And she knocked it out of the park to the point where you're like, oh my god, Liv can win this. Even everyone knows Liv's not winning the thing. They don't do special things on Raw anymore, so. And also, it comes up quickly, but especially since there's no December pay-per-view, but there is a January 1st pay-per-view and everything else, and Raw, I'm assuming, is 4 weeks after at the very end of January. So 2 plus 28, so January 30th is probably the Royal Rumble. It's always the week before the Super Bowl, so I'm going to say January 30th, Sunday, is probably the date of the Royal Rumble. Basically, this is planned the Rumble season, which means it's the Mania season before Mania season. It's think about WrestleMania season for sure. really Survivor Series is think about WrestleMania season. So and when it's think about WrestleMania season, Liv doesn't have a chance with Becky Lynch and Charlotte around. If it was Money in the Bank season, yeah, maybe to make the people happy. Liv can run with it for a day or a few weeks or a month. But I digress. I didn't write down anything else about this match. So, what do I remember? The finish. Becky did the same O'Connor roll with the rope as her and Liv were trading submission moves and roll-ups. And my only gripe with that, because I've mostly praised for this, my only gripe with that is that it's the exact same O'Connor roll rope finish Becky just beat Charlotte with. Like, why wouldn't referees be wise to this? If anything, it just makes the ref look stupid. Buries the ref. So, I don't understand. But Becky using an illegal leverage thing just to get a quick pin and then powders out. She doesn't stand there over Liv, rubbing the belt in her face, while Liv has to stand there and stare at her like they would have her do with Charlotte. Becky powders out and grabs that belt because she knows she got out of there with it by the skin of her teeth. And says, I'm the champ, I'm the greatest, well, I beat you, you know you couldn't do it, and everyone and their mother knows that Becky cheated. And it tells us that Liv might have had Becky's number that night. But now we won't know. And you should be mad at the heel, Becky Lynch, for us not knowing that information. Well done. Well done. And that loss definitely, and the package and the main event, the fact that it was the last match of the show, my verdict is yes. Yes, it did elevate Liv Morgan a great deal. Only problem is similar to Bianca Belair, what she's been doing lately. Feuding with Doudrop, that stuff never makes Hulu. I can't even, it's clearly not a priority. So, another thing, again, with Hulu, every week, same thing. Only the Women's Championship story is going to get any airtime. So I have no idea what's happening with Rhea and Nikki and the tag champs, the cartoons, the Legion of Tunes, Carmella and Zelina. I have no idea. I'm not looking it up. So, yeah, it was a success in elevating Liv Morgan. My concern is now what for her? Just like Bianca. Her and Bianca going to team and win the tag titles and then not get along. Oh, you've never seen that? I don't know. Even though Becky is way more giving in her promos and her matches to her baby faces than Charlotte is, inadvertently, I mean, she's still going to have that women's division on Raw hostage, the same way Charlotte will intentionally have the women's division on SmackDown hostage. So, still Becky and Charlotte. And I don't see it changing. Yeah, they could lose one at Mania. I could see Rhea beating Becky at Mania. Sure. Where the hell is Asuka? I don't know. They're in a tough spot. Bayley should be back soon. No? Yes? I don't know. Might be saving for the Rumble. Might be doing one of those. I don't know. I don't know the answer, folks. Why did I put up the picture of Shawn Michaels touching Candice LeRae's 7-month pregnant belly when that's not even on Raw? We'll talk about it. I watched NXT. I didn't take notes. Not going to go through the whole show right now. I'm not going to go through the whole show ever, and nor should you. I just wanted to see the fallout from TakeOver, and apparently this was Gargano's farewell, so I thought, oh, what the hell, I'll check this out and just fast forward through stuff that I want to see. We started off on NXT with, on December 7th, the Pearl Harbor anniversary. It will be, what's the word I'm looking for? It'll be poetic later. We have a steel cage match with Von Wagner. LOL. What the hell was that? He is a turd in a punch bowl. Can't move. He can't sell. And Kyle O'Reilly kind of kicked his ass and then lost to a low blow and one finisher move. And then Von Wagner kept slamming the door into his face, and Von Wagner enters the aisleway the same way he leaves. He just stares and he does the classic indie heel, put my arms in the air. I don't know what to do. I put my arms in the air. Big meathead. He said absolutely nothing to a blonde lady afterwards. So they beat Kyle. I guess Kyle O'Reilly is also on his way out, or that's his last match too. I fast forwarded Dexter Lumis and Carmelo Hayes. The Toxic Attraction group, the tag champs, Plain Jane and Gigi Dolan, who makes my underwear move. They took forever to beat two jobbers. Kept fast forwarding that. Mandy Rose cannot cut a. Ugh, she's not good on the microphone. She sounds really unnatural and uncomfortable. Like it's just not working. I think Gigi's the hottest of the three now, even though Mandy's Mandy. But interesting thing about the three of them, I almost said threesome, but I changed my mind. The three of them is that of the three, one of them is named Rose, one of them carries a rose, and it's not the same person. Wouldn't the one named Rose be the one with the rose? Okay. I know my underwear rose when Gigi could. Bob, stop it. Stop it right now. Stop it. Grow up. Grow up. LOL. Gargano comes out at the end. Big long speech. They chant Johnny Wrestling. They chant his name. Says goodbye. And of course, they can't just let us be happy for it with anything. They have to have Grayson Waller, the guy who really sucks. The worst guy in that War Games match. The second worst of the new 2.0 guys next to Von Wagner. And he lays out Gargano with a chair and a powerbomb through a table because he told LA Knight he wanted to go viral earlier in the night for some reason. They had this conversation. So that's supposed to be the on-air goodbye of Gargano. He says a nice, tearful, sincere thing and gets the shit kicked out of him by a guy who we know is not going to be there, definitely not in a year, maybe not even in 6 months. A guy who we know can't be on TV yet and isn't ready to. Despite falling off a cage into a table. Who cares? You know who else does that? Everybody. So, just let us have the moment, and then just thank you everyone, hugs, fade to black, roll credits, thank you, fuck you, bye bye, to quote a great man. That's all you needed. And then we can move on. And later on, when new heels jaw jack with Ciampa, they can make references to his little buddy's not here anymore, blah, 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 blah. So to make it worse, on social media, they show all the clips of Kyle O'Reilly and Tommaso Ciampa mainly hugging Gargano and saying goodbye to him after he takes a bunch of chair shots and a powerbomb through a table. So, apparently the chair shots and table weren't that vicious, because we see him standing and kind of sitting and a little uncomfortable, but still hugging everybody and talking normally. Okay, great. But furthermore, if you're going to show us on social media that mainly, Kyle came out too, but mainly Ciampa came out to say goodbye to him right after that. If you're going to show that on social media, you're the company's social media, then my question naturally as a viewer is going to be, Ciampa couldn't have come out 3 fucking minutes earlier or to something the minute Gargano was attacked? Couldn't do any of that. So Grayson Waller looks less tough and more fake. Okay, do whatever you want, guys. I don't know anything. What the hell do I know? Just being the best Bob I can be. But that kid will grow up not knowing the significance of Shawn Michaels' hand on his mom's pregnant belly. It's just such a weird picture. It just made me laugh. She's impregnated. Okay. I don't know. And Gargano said at one point, in 2 months, I'm about to have the toughest job I've ever had. And I really, first thing came to my mind, you're going back to Ohio to deliver pizzas? All right. Well, if he does deliver pizzas, he could have done it at the Survivor Series where they were all eating Papa John's pizza in Brooklyn. And since the tables are broken and there's no paper plates, they can put the pizza boxes on the ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest part of the ring. Eat Papa John's.